Hi and welcome to SQE Success, your pathway to becoming an English solicitor. In this question bank series, we'll look at 3 questions on the conflict of interest, which falls under professional conduct in FLK1. Let's dive in. Here's the first question we tackle today. A solicitor is representing 2 clients simultaneously. One is a long-standing client, and the other a new client who was on board recently after passing standard conflict checks. Although no conflict was identified at the time of onboarding, it has now become clear that the work the new client requests conflicts with the interests of the long-standing client. The solicitor has not disclosed any confidential information between clients and believes both matters can still be handled professionally. The solicitor is now considering whether to continue acting for the new client. Can the solicitor continue to represent the new client under the SRA Code of Conduct? A. No, as there is a conflict of interest. B. No, as the work is carried out within the same team. C. Yes, with reasonable measures in place to protect confidential information. D. Yes, with consent from both clients in writing. E. Yes, with the informed consent from both clients. You can pause the video and think about it. The best answer is E. Yes, with the informed consent from both clients. Under paragraph 6.2 of the SRA Code of Conduct for solicitors, a solicitor may continue to act for 2 clients despite a conflict of interest, only if both clients give their informed consent such that the clients have a clear understanding of the nature and extent of the conflict, and the solicitor is satisfied that he can continue to act in each client's best interests. Consent must be informed, not merely written. Therefore, option D is wrong because written consent alone is not sufficient unless the clients fully understand the risks and implications. Option C is also incorrect because measures alone, like information barriers, do not justify continuing representation unless informed consent is also obtained. Option A is a trap. There is a conflict, but not all conflicts are unmanageable under the SRA rules. Let's look at another question very similar to the first question. A solicitor is acting for 2 clients simultaneously, one a long-standing corporate client, and the other a new client with a commercial matter that has recently arisen. Although no conflict was identified during initial intake, it has now become clear that the new client's matter will involve pursuing a legal claim directly against the long-standing client. The solicitor realizes that this situation places them in a position where they owe duties to act in the best interests of both clients, but cannot do so without compromising one client's position. Both clients are willing to give consent for the solicitor to continue acting. Can the solicitor continue to represent the new client under the SRA Code of Conduct? The key difference is that in the second case, the solicitor does not believe he can continue to act for both clients professionally, while in the first case, he thinks he can. In view of this difference, the solicitor in the second case cannot continue to represent the new client as there is a conflict of interest. Do you know why? In the second case, the solicitor is being asked to act against an existing client, which creates an unmanageable conflict of duties. Even if informed consent is obtained, the solicitor cannot continue acting because it is not possible to serve both clients' best interests simultaneously. This is not a conflict that can be resolved with barriers or consent because it is a fundamental conflict of duty and loyalty. Let's look at the third question. A solicitor is instructed to act in a commercial loan transaction involving a company borrower, a private lender, and a personal guarantor who is a director of the company. The solicitor is asked to act for both the lender and the guarantor. Initial checks reveal no immediate conflict, but the solicitor recognizes that their interests may diverge if, for example, the borrower defaults and the lender enforces the guarantee. The guarantor has a long-standing relationship with the solicitor and expresses full trust in their impartiality. Both parties are willing to consent to the solicitor acting for both. The solicitor considers implementing information barriers and obtaining informed consent from both parties before proceeding. What is the legal position under the SRA Code of Conduct? A. The solicitor must decline to act for both parties, as this is a direct conflict of interest. B. The solicitor may act for both parties if they are jointly instructing him and waive confidentiality. C. The solicitor may act for both parties as the matter is substantially transactional, not contentious. D. The solicitor may act for both parties only if it is in the best interests of both clients and informed consent is obtained, with appropriate safeguards. E. The solicitor can act only if the guarantor is separately represented, regardless of consent. Did you pick option D? If so, correct. In the lender-guarantor context, their interests are not necessarily directly adverse, but may diverge, particularly upon default. Provided both parties are properly advised and consent freely, it may be permissible to act for both. However, the solicitor must remain alert to any evolving conflict and cease acting if that arises. The exam tip is always consider the nature and severity of the conflict when evaluating whether you can act for both clients. A potential or commercial conflict may be permissible if it is in the best interests of both clients, and if informed consent is obtained. Where necessary, with the implementation of appropriate safeguards, such as information barriers. A direct and fundamental conflict, where the solicitor owes conflicting duties to two clients on opposing sides, is almost always prohibited, even with informed consent and safeguards, as it compromises independence and client loyalty. Want to unlock the secrets to passing the SQE with confidence? I'm giving away my exclusive ebook, SQE Success Secrets, absolutely free. Inside, you'll discover proven tips, powerful study strategies, and real insights from my personal journey, including how I passed SQE 1 on my first attempt with a top-tier result. Click the link below this video to grab your free copy and start your path to SQE Success today. Let's turn your ambition into qualification. Subscribe now to SQE Success and start your great SQE journey with confidence.